I'm in an Excel now.
I'm in an Excel. All right, we're twerking.
Leaving it Thursday and coming back Monday afternoon, it's just become easier to say, you know what? I'm not going to pick and choose and jam into this suitcase. Just put it in the bigger suitcase and we'll go. And I will say, it's nice not lugging the thing around the airport.
I believe that. There are times when I think about that. But my problem is the airport, Charlotte. Living there for a few years, checking a bag at the Charlotte airport is the bane of my existence.
Oh, not Monday night at 9 o'clock. It's dead every Monday night.
No, that's in Birmingham.
Well, I have to check it in Charlotte too.
Oh no, checking it there is fine. Waiting for it on the
it's rough.
Carousel in Charlotte.
I will say I'll give a golf clap to the folks last night.
Yeah.
Not standing at the carousel with their toes on the edge of the conveyor belt. Good job. I think there's only 1 or 2 out of about 30 that did that. But on the flight home, folks, if you're in the aisle, don't watch your cell phone using both hands with your elbows pointed completely to the side, guy.
Don't be that guy.
Never be that person.
Ever.
Specifically if you're in the aisle. Now, if you're in the window seat, people should know, especially if you're a bigger guy, you got to know where to go. So you can contort your back and your neck and your head up against the window because buddy who weighed 182 pounds has got to watch his phone like this for the YouTubers.
Maybe his hands are just at 10
and refuses to move.
Maybe his hands are at 10 and 2.
Gave him the friendly nudge. First off, I didn't think watching a cell phone required 2 hands. But if you're that weak and you can't hold your phone up with one hand long enough, then I guess I would understand it.
Maybe he was just trying to get his upright rows in. That's why his elbows were out.
It was in his lap. So
maybe he had an iPhone Pro Plus.
No, screen wasn't that big. Maybe it was the new Air. I don't know.
That's what I have. But you certainly don't need 2 hands for this.
Yep. And you know what I didn't have? Air between me and the window.
Why'd you get an aisle seat again?
I wasn't in the aisle. I wish I would have had an aisle seat.
Why didn't you get an aisle seat then?
Well, probably because when...
Oh, boy.
Well, you wonder why he's in the hole every Tuesday.
My flights from here on out on Monday nights are booked, so we won't have this issue again.
Let's ride.
Some of the later finding out of games.
Yep. It happens.
Just don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
If you're in the aisle, lean to the aisle. Allow for window seat to have a little extra room. Specifically, when you're smaller than Greg.
Easy. Smaller than me.
When you're a tall Damien, definitely lean to the window. Or the aisle, excuse me.
Wow.
Buddy was leaning. I mean,
so you have...
I just don't understand somebody's going to have to explain to me this.
Yeah,
sitting in there playing this, watching
elbows
phone.
out, 90-degree angle.
Over my armrest. Over it.
I
Elbow
understand
over
that.
my
Over
armrest.
the armrest is the neutral zone for sure, but you have to have respect. If you are in the aisle, you have to have respect for the window passenger in the neutral zone. You have to, because you have another neutral zone between you and the other person across the aisle. So you need to be mindful of that. As someone that is always, with almost 100% certainty, in the aisle, always, I'm always respectful of the neutral zone.
You have to be.
You have to be.
Speaking of that other neutral zone, one thing that people have completely begun to disregard is swinging their giant backpacks left and right when boarding the plane. Because I take about 6 headshots per flight from people boarding, swinging backpacks back and forth.
Damien, is that yeah, that's a pause. Anyways, what I'm trying to figure out though is the amount. It used to be you get 1 carry-on item and 1 personal item,
right?
Correct. That's
still the same. Yeah.
To me, since when is a personal item a 4-day camping backpack with a rollerboard that actually is like not domestic carry-on, an international expander?
I may have done it with that new Target backpack I bought. I've
only
used it twice.
I got no problem with people that like to camp, but to me, your sleeping bag that's rolled up on top of your camping backpack
with your canteen hanging off the side.
Correct, with your
around
with your 2-gallon canteen that honestly probably weighs more than my checked bag that I just had to pay extra for because it's overweight. That's the thing that blows me away. Like I can always tell like when I'm flying certain places. Like, all right, I better buckle up today. We're going to have some campers on this flight. And by the way, no problem with campers. But it's more the the stuff that they take with them. Like if this plane, it's almost as if they're preparing for a potential plane crash, like in Lost. All right,
that's a flight you want to be on.
Hey, 100%. Like that's why I'm not ever that mad about it. But I'm just curious, like, how's that thing fitting in the top of the plane? Do you guys have like a secret little passageway thing that you open the door and like stick it down in cargo bay? Because there's no way that thing fits on top of the plane unless you deconstruct your entire camping bag. A guy walks in, literally canteen of water, two rollerboards, or one rollerboard that he's pushing that's smaller than his backpack. He has a sleeping bag, probably two of them. I've seen sleeping bags now. They look like cocoons. This guy looks like a walking REI commercial. And
listen, that plane goes down, you're going to want Ranger Rick in the woods.
Yeah.
I think it's all for show. I think that guy lives in Mountain Brook. I think it's all for show, and he's just trying to present an image of
you go down
outdoorsmanship.
In the you're going to want Crocodile Dundee helping you out over there.
That's fair.
Look, glamping is still camping, okay? If he's from Mountain Brook and doing all that, he could still be glamping, but that's still camping.
Could be.
When does glamping become camping?
Do you have an AC at night?
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Or when does camping become glamping? So that's AC, or you arrive at said park that you're staying at via private jet / helicopter.
I've already shared my opinion on this, and y'all know it. If you spend the night out somewhere in a tent, you're asking for it. Just no way.
Do you have running water somewhere?
Termites?
Humans. I'm much more afraid of humans this day and age than I am any animal out there.
That's true.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a little more scared.
I listen to way too much. Humans is what my 5-year-old still says, so it's okay. I'll allow it.
Humanoids.
I'm much more afraid of humans listening to Dateline than I am any snake or alligator or bear. Trust me.
That's why I don't listen to it anymore. It gets me in a hole.
Maybe that's why I'm there.
Ever since I had a daughter, I won't listen to Dateline, and I won't listen to...
That's smart.
I'm serious. Ever since I had a daughter, I can't listen to this stuff.
I'm with you. I get it.
What's the other one called? Crime Junkie. I used to be a Crime Junkie guy. I listened to, like, Why Father Wants Us Dead, like, all this other stuff.
What was the... What?
Oh, it's a great one. If you're into true crime, it's a great one. It's called Father Wants Us Dead.
Sounds like it.
It's amazing. It's really good. Anyways... I've listened to all the things about the Branch Davidians. Like, I mean, I was all down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and all this stuff. This was about 2 years ago. And then my daughter was born. I'm like, you know what? I think
no more murders and cults.
I'm going to do a chronological Bible reading.
Don't need it.
And, May has changed my life.
You overcorrected.
For the boys, I had to be pretty prepared for battle.
Right.
For her, I need to be prepared to love. Life has changed.
Okay. Well, that's all I had on the airport. So,
are you in a good spot today? Did that get you out of your hole 9 minutes in?
No, Deari Noka and I sat there at the conveyor belt for about 45 minutes after we landed last night.
What was Darcy doing at the airport?
He got SEC Basketball Media Days gets going today.
Oh my gosh, that is today, didn't it?
Basketball season's here, guys. Basketball season is here.
Yeah, I'm in a good place. I've seen Nate Oates and Stephen Pearl in the last 7 days.
You can still see Stephen. It's okay. Yeah, because you've been hanging out at your lake house.
Well, I saw Stephen yesterday, the other day before the game, and I saw Coach Oates.
Happy belated birthday, Oates. By the way,
is today his birthday?
Yesterday.
Heck yeah!
He didn't tell me happy birthday, so he can keep it.
When's your birthday?
I did tell you happy.
No,
I'm excited for basketball season.
Nate Oates.
Oh.
Nate Oates didn't tell you happy birthday?
Nope.
Was he supposed to?
He gets no happy birthdays from me.
I've seen both coaches in the last 7 days. It must be basketball season because it's coming.
Stephen will be on at 7:30 tomorrow. The people will be angry. They get mad when we have basketball people on during football season, but it's basketball season, so I don't know what they
Auburn might need something to talk about.
Oh, there's a lot to talk. There's a lot to talk about. Deari Alson's not on the team anymore. We'll start there. And the back and forth as to how this went down is now becoming a massive topic of conversation. So we'll get into that. 800-239-9569. You want to be a part of the show, you can tweet in at Mac and Cube. That's all I have for airplanes today, for the folks wondering. I don't have – that's my public service announcement. Just keep your elbows in your area. And I know what people are thinking. Why don't you just kindly ask? Because I know –
No, you can't ask.
You can tell by the individual how that conversation is going to go. And if you ask nicely and the elbows stay, it becomes extremely problematic. And it was an uncomfortable. I'm getting up when the buzzer went off and we landed. He wanted to sit and chill. I'll say that. Joe Taylor was like, "What happened up there?" I was like, "Don't worry about it." He was behind us.
Did you see the other guy?
No, there was nothing happened.
No,
like
just
that.
more. Yeah. He knew.
No, he was wondering, but he knew. It's like you had your, and then all of a sudden the elbows are in. It's like you had an hour and a half. Decided not to do it. So just please don't be that person. Is all I ask.
Is that more annoying than if he'd have been watching his YouTube without headphones?
No, because I had my headphones in. I don't think I would have
Okay.
heard it, so I don't care. I forget even what I was listening to. But some college football something. Trying to learn something that I don't know. So I don't think that would have bothered me much at all. I mean, if it was really loud, maybe. But I don't think it would have bothered me that much. No, because I was watching film and had my headphones in, so that's not a huge deal. No.
Well, that's good.
No. Watched a little USC last night.
Are we
Honestly,
back?
I could barely keep my eyes open because I was leaning forward. iPad was on the tray, and I was leaning all the way forward on the edge of my seat so I could at least expand my shoulders and not be crunched up because that's how out the elbows were. Yeah. And then the lady came by and was like, "It's time to put your tray up." I'm like, "Where would you like me to go? I can't lean back. The elbows are in my area."
That's what you told
That's
the
when
lady?
that's when the guy got really uncomfortable.
You did not tell the lady
I
that.
did tell the lady that.
I can't lift them up because this guy's elbows are
I said, "I don't know
blocking
where
it."
you want me to go. The elbows are in my seat. Where do you want me to go? There's nowhere
Wow.
for me to go." That's when he got uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Had an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Had an hour and a half to do it.
Wow.
But you decided not to. So, yeah, it was uncomfortable. Sorry. Such is life on an airplane.
Life on the airplane.
Figure it out. I figured it out. I put the tray table down, leaned forward, and pulled the old man 4 inches away from my screen trick. Not that that was really a trick, but watch Ohio State. Their offense, I'm going to tell you about Ohio State's offense, Craig. The O-line didn't have a great day, but Julian Sain's a lot better than people are giving him credit for.
He's fine. He's a good game manager at this point of his career. And by the way,
he is super accurate. He gets the ball out on time. He's good on the run. Like I think when I watch Ohio State, I see a team that's just going to keep getting better and better and better and better. The defense can run. The defense I don't think is as destructive up front as maybe people believe that they are or want to think that they are. But man, they can run and they can create some havoc.
I think they're excellent. I think the sky's the limit. The thing that's amazing to me, they lose 8 guys to the draft and their defense is better. But it's more about how they're playing and the style that they're playing as opposed to their personnel. I don't think their personnel is as good as it was last year, but they are playing better as a team.
Caleb Downs lets them do so much.
Well, he just frees him up a lot, 100%. Like he's very good, and I really like what I've seen so far from Julian Sand. The only thing that concerns me is at some point, will the wide receivers get a little frustrated because they are not really a big play offense right now, which is kind of weird. I mean, when they're going and Ohio State's fun, I'm assuming as a receiver, like they're stretching the field and they're creating big plays almost feels like once a drive. And that's not really who they are right now. I just wonder if there might be some frustration at some point as the season goes along, but I don't think there will be. I think it's a good team.
I think they'll grow into being a bigger play offense. I think they can get there. I really do. So I don't think it's going to be a big problem. But they're a really good football team right now.
Excellent.
All right. You can tweet into the show at Mac and Cube. You can call the show. Discuss anything from an Auburn, Alabama perspective that you would like. 800-239-9569, 800-239-WJOX. I have a question for Greg and for you, the listener, for when we come back, because we've got Pete Thamel at 7:30. And I want you to start thinking about this one because in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to come back to this. If I asked you right now, national championship, SEC or the field, who are you taking? So start thinking about that one. We'll come back to it. Talk a little more Auburn, Alabama on the other side. Pete Thamel at 8:30, Andy Burcham at 8. We'll talk national championship potential in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll go back to talk a little bit more with what's happening at Auburn next right here on Jocks. But first, I'll tell you about our friends at Train. You guys know about Train. When you think about what the weather was at 57 when we left the house today.
Nice and chilly. 53
Feels
for
great.
me this morning when I woke up and worked out.
Going to be 80-something later today. 88, I think, is the high today. Listen, I've been waiting for this weather to cool down, just dying for it to cool down a little bit. As football season moves on, you know that means changes in the weather are coming. Protect your HVAC system with a checkup from a trained comfort specialist. So when the cold weather hits, you'll have peace of mind that you're protected by America's most reliable and trusted brand. Find a comfort specialist near you at train.com. It's hard to stop a train. Talk a little more Auburn, Alabama when we come back next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Curtis Lewis tweeting into the show at Mac and Cube. Goodness, Cole, you're such a
Homer?
no. I'm even with the edit that he puts into the word. If you are attempting to point out, I guess, feminine tendencies in a male in the worst way possible, Curtis is doing that to me right here, saying that I'm that type of individual.
That doesn't mean that to me. It doesn't feel that way.
I mean, it's fine.
I like me some Cole. I bet you Curtis wouldn't say it to your face.
I don't care if you would or not, honestly.
At this point, I like Curtis minus 135 against Sleepy Cole, or against Whole. Actually, I might coin a new term. Whole Cole. You're in the hole.
Whole Cubelic.
Whole Cubelic. We're gonna get him out.
I feel like we've gotten like some good interaction from Curtis before. I thought he liked our show.
No, he likes our show.
No,
Likes our show.
I think we're past that point now. That's been ruined.
Maybe just soured on you.
Yeah, cool. Good for him.
Ayo.
Reed wants to chime in on the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in, Reed.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. And I'm tuning in a little late this morning, so if you guys hit it in the opening segment, I apologize. But I think, Cole, you touched on it yesterday about sort of the excuses mindset that's creeping in at Auburn right now. And I think that a lot of that starts with the head guy. And I thought that yesterday during his press conference, it got even worse. I thought it sounded very out of touch with the fan base's opinion, as well as sort of what happened on Saturday. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look at it or hear it yet, but he got on there and talked about how the defense missed 11 assignments on the last drive alone and couldn't get off the field, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it's pretty tone deaf on his part to be an offensive guru and you muster 30 to 40 yards in the second half in a D1 game and sort of throw your defense under the bus like that. Just wanted to see if you could elaborate a little bit more on that, see if you agreed with his opinion, and then sort of the lack of accountability he seems to be taking from the offensive struggles.
Okay, let's just hear some of it. Reed chiming in on Hugh Freeze's press conference from yesterday. Pete Thamel coming up in 8 minutes, but first, this was Freeze on some calls that weren't executed in the second half.
The same calls that were executed beautifully in the first half are some of the same calls that against the same looks that did not get executed in those game-defining critical moments. And it's really hard to understand and put your finger on it, but that's what we have to do as coaches, is to figure out, how to help our kids believe.
Also, Hugh Freeze on missed assignments and sort of where some of the blame needs to go for the Auburn players.
Had our season low in MAs, 23, which is really, really good for an entire football game. However, on the 17-play drive that sealed the game for them, we had 11 of the 23. Same calls, against the same type of looks, and we don't keep the same poise and make the same plays that we had proven to make for 3 earlier quarters. Same thing offensively. A play that gains 15 yards early in the game against the same look has a -2 because we MA on a blocking assignment, or a pass that was an easy completion became much more difficult for some reason.
I think that gives folks an idea of where Reed's going here and what he was talking about, Greg, and it's you immediately turn your attention to missed assignments from players against what he references as the same look. However, we pointed this out on Read and React last night. It was not being played the same way. If you go back and you watch this game, Georgia primarily 3-down structure for the first half of the game. Mm-hmm. Now, they would have an edge defender walked up who made it appear as though it was 4 down. It wasn't. I would have referenced that as an Okie front with a man walked up.
Okie meaning?
Three down linemen. So
Correct.
a nose and 2 ends. Strong ends, not your prototypical like edge defenders in a 4 down.
Yeah, not speed.
Look.
Anchor.
And they were essentially being aggressive playing games out on the edge. So you would slant down and have a replaced linebacker coming across. Well, if you're running that power sweep or power counter that they were running, quarterback read counter with multiple pullers and a lead blocker and 2-back coming at you in the alley, and then you begin to arc the tight end out that way as well, which would pull the linebacker with him. That's very difficult to defend in the alley for Georgia. By the way, go back 2 years ago in Auburn and look what they did. They did a lot of the same stuff. I'm surprised Georgia played it that way early, to be honest.
Yeah.
So then later in the game, they give you more of an even look, and that edge defender was playing it traditionally, which is you play patient, you hold your water, and you kind of slide down to wait and see if it's a handoff. And if it is, you go crash the running back or the quarterback who keeps it and goes straight, or you go flat with that quarterback who keeps it and goes down the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
Well, that began to take away the quarterback run. That began to take away the tailback dive on different plays that they were running that way. So you can say it was essentially the same defense, but they were playing it the exact opposite way, at least over the tackle and out in the alleys, because it was edge defender, run with arcing tight end, edge defender, crash, linebacker, replace, or vice versa, linebacker, blitz, edge defender, out. So that took away a lot of the responsibility of guys to be able to sort of read and react. They went to a different structure of how they were playing it in the second half, and that let those linebackers run to the football, which they're really good at, and that's why it was problematic. So it needed to be more direct run, in my opinion, against that even 4-down look and not try to attack a place that a guy was playing you straight up. That's what I saw when I watched the film.
Yeah. I mean, to me, when I look at the offense and how they kind of attack things, there was a certain rhythm to it. So you can look at, yes, where they aligned and how they move into the Okie front with the 4 eyes and all this stuff, and how it put in some different personnel. Like they were playing a little heavier. And if you look at Georgia this year, man, they don't have a ton of twitch. It's really not who they are. They're just big. There's a big run-stopping unit, which is why their sack numbers have suffered. So when they get into that front, it becomes very difficult to run. It allows the linebackers to flow freely over the top. So in the event in which you are handing, say, for example, a jet sweep, that jet sweep's going to be very difficult to get on the outside because they have great speed at linebacker. Those guys can read, diagnose, and close. So what I think is if they could do it all over again, there would have been more misdirection. If I were calling plays for Hugh Freeze in this game, it would have been a lot more misdirection, and it would have been more significant misdirection.
Especially in the second half.
That's how I would have done it.
It was set up in the second half.
It was
there.
And I think that and they tried to stay with the same script as what they stayed with in the first half, which, by the way, is great. And another thing, too, that Hugh Freeze told us, look, we're doing less better in this game. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to dial it back. They wanted to simplify a little bit, get the guys playing faster. It worked beautifully in the first half. Guys were playing faster. They're not bogged down with concepts as much this past week, and I think that was positively received. But I do think you have to have a couple curveballs in the second half that they didn't get to often enough because they couldn't sustain drives. Like, you can't get to the curveball if you don't have your fastball at least going a little bit.
And you didn't get a lot of that. So just kind of where it was. Hugh Freeze also on the situation with running back Deari Alson.
Deari failed to meet the expectations and standards of our program, and we love him, wish him the best, but that's where it's at.
So people are upset with that verbiage. Deari essentially went into Hugh's office and asked for a red shirt and said that he didn't want to play anymore this year. And people are saying now that Hugh is saying that he was sort of kicked off the team based on that verbiage.
How does that lead to being kicked off the team? By the way, are you not kicked off the team if you ask for a red shirt?
It depends on if you're Lincoln Riley or not, and you let those guys practice the rest of the year.
I'm sorry, like if you don't want to play, you don't play. To me, why is that a difficult thing to wrap your head around?
I don't know who's trying to paint the pictures of what here, who thinks other people's are trying to play what pictures. I don't know exactly the conversation or the context of the conversation that was, can I stay in practice? No, you cannot be a part of this team. I don't know exactly how that part went. But what I do know that a lot of fans don't like to hear is when you do this, you quit on your team. I don't care what you call it. I don't care what you think it is. You're walking away from your teammates. I don't care how many teammates put on Instagram how cool you are, what a great teammate you are, and that you are a captain. You are walking away from your teammates. At the end of the day, that's what it is. Now, we also want to throw in the context of trying to preserve a year, trying to go play somewhere else. That's fine. That can also be the truth, but it doesn't mean you're not quitting on your teammates this year right now. It's just the reality of it. If that's a hard pill for you to swallow, I'm sorry, but it is. It's just what it is. And there's this big confusion between that right now. I've heard nothing but great things about the kid. All of his teammates are defending him and what a fine human he is, and I'm sure that's great, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to say that. But you're walking out on your team.
100%.
There's literally no other way to look at that. So
you can be a great kid and not want to play football. I mean,
a lot of them out there.
I love a lot of friends of mine from college that did not play football. Like, didn't want to play football. Like, we're perfectly fine.
Listen,
great friends in high school that didn't want to play football. Guess what? It's a hard physical game. Like,
I had teammates that I played with that quit and not to go transfer and preserve a red shirt because that wasn't a thing. And you don't hate them.
No.
But they quit on the team. They did. Middle of the season. So
How are they trying to paint this as you got kicked off the team? Like he got
I
kicked
think
off.
they're saying that Hugh chose his words.
He protected him. He could have
In
come
an
out and
un-
said,
an
"Hey,
unfair
you walked
manner.
in my office, said you didn't want to play."
Well, I think the whole didn't meet the standard does come across a little bit as if he broke some rule or something like that.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I suppose
I think
breaking the rule is not wanting to play.
Well, the context of that was a little. I can see where people would say, "Well, hold on, he didn't meet the standard. Like he didn't do anything wrong, except
Yeah, he asked not to play. He's getting paid. That's breaking the standard, in my opinion.
that's. I mean, I don't think a lot of people would argue with that. So,
You get paid to play.
you sure?
Last time I checked.
Okay.
You say you don't want to play and yet still be paid and be in practice and all this stuff, like pretty simple to me.
So there you go. Pete
Someone tells
Thamel.
me if he redshirts, he's still going to try to collect his check. Why would I? Why would I mean? Sorry.
No, you can't. You don't get your NIL if you walk. That's the reality.
But if you decide to keep practicing and redshirt, do you get your NIL then?
If the coach allows you to do that, then yeah. So, I mean, I can see the side of it where some of the words were a little bit twisted, and maybe that wasn't the correct way to state things. But the flip side of he didn't quit on his team, I can't be okay with that. I'm sorry.
He did. Simple. Call it what it is.
Tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Bromberg's the best. Go to Jelisa Week is here. Started yesterday. Now's a good time, by the way, to go and check out Bromberg's at the Mountain Brook Village store and at the Summit, because Jelisa Week is a great week where you can get that beautiful piece for a lot less money. The savings last just for 1 week only. And if you're not familiar with Jelisa, they are beautiful. Elegant dinnerware, linens, glassware. They bring beauty and joy to every single gathering. So if you're preparing to host for the season that's upcoming, or if you're looking for the perfect gift, I might actually swing in there and get a gift. Hopefully she's not listening right now. Birthday is coming up. Might need to go get a brand new piece of Jelisa. And there's no better time to add that timeless piece to your collection at Bromberg. So go check out the newest fall and holiday designs along with beloved classics. Stop by Bromberg's and add some joy to your home with Jelisa.
All right, when we come back, Pete Thamel on the Penn State opening and what other jobs should we be paying attention to that could open next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Going to go right to the Higginbotham hotline. Pete Thamel of ESPN joining us now to discuss this coaching carousel, which has gotten busy much earlier in the season than a lot of people would have anticipated. James Franklin, the big name, Pete, and I would just love to hear from you as to why now, what you've heard, what you've gathered from around Penn State as to why they thought it was the best idea for James Franklin to not be their head football coach any longer this year and moving forward.
Yeah, Cole, it's a fascinating question, and I think this firing, which was both stunning, and then when you really dig into the micro, you can understand it. But just the actual visceral reaction of seeing Penn State has fired James Franklin still is a little bit weird, right? That guy's been a staple of a program. He's been one of the winningest coaches in college football over the last 3 seasons, one of the top 5. And it ultimately came down to, athletic director Pat Graff said yesterday they want to win national championships. He said he gets out of bed every morning trying to win the national championship. And that is the only thing that James Franklin has not done at Penn State. And that's win a national championship. And I think in this moment in time that we're in, Cole, when the rosters are, and I don't know Penn State's number because there's a lot of ambiguity there, but they are fully invested well over 20 million, probably over 30 million, right? You have these expensive rosters. You're paying the defensive coordinator $3.1 million. You're paying the offensive coordinator a lot of money. Andy Kotelnicki. There was a feeling at Penn State that they had done everything they could possibly to put a championship program on the field. And if you dig in, they did not play well for 6 games. Now they lost 3. They performed tepidly in the opening 3, and I'll admit I ignored that. We were there for game day for the Oregon game, and just kind of wrote it off as vanilla offense because they didn't want to show anything, and but it was a half season of underperformance, and that obviously spiraled into a 3-game losing streak, and here we are.
Well, based on what I've heard, Pete, I know you got great contacts. This was about 5 or 6 years in the making. First opportunity that he gave him to gas him, it was coming. Just the frustration began during COVID, and then it's continued on with those that make high-level decisions. And he had a very, very powerful segment of the fan base that had turned on him. But what I'm most intrigued by is there's not some obvious, without question, upgrade. And frankly, Pete, I don't see a scenario right now where a coach that is going to be coaching in the playoffs, assuming you don't have a first-round exit, a coach in the playoffs is not likely to move with where the calendar's heading. So how the heck are you going to fill your void if you're trying to go after guys that are coaching in the postseason?
Greg, I think it's a great point, and I've banged the drum on this since the playoff, went to 12. It would not be impossible for a playoff coach to go to a team, but what would be possible is that playoff coach would basically have to say to his current team, not directly, but by his actions, buzz off, I'm leaving, and risk a shot at a national championship. Remember, Luke Fickell was at this crossroads a little bit at Cincinnati when they made the playoff and the Notre Dame job was open, and he didn't talk to them. And here's the thing. If you, let's just, I don't know the actual date the regular season ends off the top of my head, but it's usually around December 1st, right? So if your regular season ends December 1st and you're Penn State, and you have to sit there for 3 weeks and just wave in the wind to hire somebody, it is going to completely overshadow and undermine whatever playoff coach you're hoping to hire's, shot at keeping his team together. And I don't see somebody like Kurt Cignetti doing that. And I don't know what the ESPN playoff predictor is for Indiana in the playoff, but I basically have considered them in, right? They have the best win in the country this year. They have a pretty favorable schedule down the stretch. I think they've proven against obviously at Iowa and against Illinois that they're a playoff caliber team. So the playoff coaches don't mean a lot. Well, we can have the same conversation again about Florida with Lane Kiffin in a few weeks too, Greg, because that's if and we'll find out this weekend if Ole Miss is a playoff team. I'm not quite convinced yet. I think I need a little more empirical evidence. But shoot, they're the number 4 team in the country right now. So they're certainly going to be right in the thicket of the conversation as they were last time. But the timing doesn't line up for that. And I think you make a great point. There is nobody you can say, oh, he will be better than James Franklin. I think there's 3 active college coaches who've won national titles, right? And that's the upgrade you need. Those cats ain't leaving. So, where do you go? And I think some of the riddle here, Greg, is how do you maximize a program?
Yeah.
Right. Like that's the conundrum here. Penn State, and I agree with Pat Kraft, is a place that, aspires to win national championships, spends to win national championships. Can you find someone who has maximized programs at other levels that you trust to come in, even though their record probably is going to end up being worse than James Franklin's was at Penn State, and in holistically energize and maximize every part of the program?
Pete Thamel of ESPN joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. What's already happened? We saw Oregon State, we saw Penn State over the weekend, we've seen a couple others prior. Has that shifted things to this now needs to be done during the season? This needs to be done as quickly as possible? Because a lot of folks, I think what I heard earlier in the year, Pete, is we got to protect our rosters because if we fire the coach, all the kids can hit the portal. So we can't do that now. Where's the mindset of administrators for guys that are maybe right there on the brink of being fired and they're waiting to see how the next game or two goes?
Yeah, let's play a little trivia, guys. This is like the nerdy type of trivia that people like us would be locked in on. Who was the first coach fired last season, and when was it?
Oh, that's a great question. I can't recall. I don't know.
Yeah, there were 2 guys fired week 8. One was Will Hall at Southern Miss, and there was another guy fired that day, and I'm honestly not going to remember who. So this cycle is a knee jerk to last cycle, which was, I don't want to say historically low, but really, really low for power conference moves. I believe, if you don't count Stanford, because that was not performance-based, that was obviously kind of an off-season, I believe there were 3 power conference jobs where the coach was fired last season. Purdue, West Virginia, and it's early here. I haven't had my coffee. There's one other that I'll think of. So what this cycle is, Cole, pretty simply is, and a lot of people were hesitant last season because of finances, right? Hey, rev share, this new world, a lot of uncertainty. Well, 8 months later, I think it's still uncertain, but at least there's a little more familiarity with how budgets are going to work, et cetera. So now I believe, I don't know how to count Oregon State, but if you count Oregon State, there's 7 power jobs, 6 power jobs if you don't. And yeah, like it's the obvious ripple. But look, guys, like we could be sitting on the cusp of a historic coaching carousel. Obviously, Florida State's lost 8 ACC games in a row, which is kind of stunning to say out loud. Florida's certainly on the brink, as it has been for a year. Wisconsin just is coming off a historic loss there, and a lot of eyes have turned there. So we could, in Auburn, obviously, is 0-3 in the SEC. They don't take that well, as you well know, Cole. So, we could really be seeing, now you're talking about not enough guys to fill the jobs, right? If you open up all those jobs, and who's going to fill them? So this will be the most fascinating coaching carousel of my 22 years doing this. It will take twists and turns, and it's going to be fascinating how it fills.
Absolutely wild. And right now, how would you kind of stack up those that you think will come open? Obviously, barring something unforeseen, those that you think will come open. How do you stack up the level of attractiveness for each job?
Well, I typically rank them in like, can't you win a national championship, right? Penn State, you can. Virginia Tech has played for the national championship in my lifetime, and there's a local recruiting base, fan base, and physical infrastructure there that you should be able to, compete and get in the playoff, and if you get a magical quarterback, maybe you can go to you can take it to the next level. Florida's won a couple national championships in my lifetime. Florida State's won a couple in my lifetime. Auburn has won one in my lifetime. And came darn close to 2, right? So it's, those jobs are all, going to be jobs that a lot of people are going to be aspired to fill. And it's difficult in modern college football, guys. We've seen rare instances of power four to power four movement. And I just think if that caliber of job opens up this year and there's that many of them, we're going to have to see more of that because, there's some very good group of five candidates, right? John Summerall is, as good a group of five coach as I've seen in my years doing this. Ryan Silverfield has as good a track record as any coach I've seen at that group of five level. Like there are some good, but there's only so many of those guys, right? Brian Newberry at Navy's having another heck of a year. But that, that is a leap from that level to those highest level jobs. And take a place like Virginia Tech, because they're at the front of my mind. They hired the hot group of five guys. It didn't work. They hired the, hot coordinator at a big school. It didn't work. So there's going to be all these people now are into risk management, right? If you hire a proven sitting head coach, even though it might be more expensive up front, they could, if they've proven they can manage the portal, if they've proven they can build a roster in modern times, build a front office, right? How important is that? When you look at how all this works. So I also think some outside guys right now are going to be pretty attractive. I'll start with James Franklin. You don't think James Franklin would be a huge win for basically every open job right now? You can bring him in November 15th. He knows how to build a program. He knows how to build an infrastructure. Pat Fitzgerald is a name I don't think a lot of people are talking about. And he's a vibrant, successful head coach, powerful leader. One of the things that's hard to imagine, about Pat Fitzgerald with another logo is we've only really seen him at Northwestern. I think he did a little time at Miami of Ohio early in his career. But for the most part, the guy played at Northwestern, coached at Northwestern, and it's been such a linchpin at that place. But he's a guy who spent a lot of time in the off season, this off season preparing and building. The legal stuff is behind him and is not going to be an impediment to his hiring. And he's already a hot name amongst these open jobs, as is Dave Clawson, the old Wake Forest coach. He's actually doing work for us guys at the ACC network, and he certainly, he's probably not going to go to Oklahoma State, right? But he's certainly going to be a guy. He's a guy who built Wake Forest to a program that was in the top 10. I'm sure you called some of their big games, Greg, over the years. Just an impressive, smart guy. Talk about maximizing a place. I mean, he maximized Wake Forest to the best it's been in my lifetime, and there'll be some attractiveness there. But I think the timing too. Talk about the goofiness of the playoff. If you can bring in a coach and you can hire him November 15th, now there's no early portal anymore, but that's a massive advantage in my opinion.
Absolutely. Pete, great stuff. Thank you for hopping on with us. We always appreciate your insight. Really, really good stuff, and we'll do it again soon.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you thinking of me.
Thank you. Pete Thamel joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. A lot of candidates that are not active now. How real are some of those? We'll discuss that on the other side. But before we do that, I'm going to add some value here on Jocks. I'll introduce you to our friend and wealth advisor, Tad Hill, your trusted retirement planning partner. Tad, the co-host of the Retire with Freedom radio and TV shows in Birmingham and Huntsville, also designated by Forbes as the #1 financial security professional in the state of Alabama, multiple years running. Tad, what do you have for us today?
Okay, today is a topic that we've discussed before, but it's a pretty constant issue, and that is market volatility. And definitely the markets have been topsy-turvy for months in a row now. And if you're already retired or you're within 5 years of it, there's a thing called sequence of returns risk. And I can't go through all the math here. I can do that in our course or in a visit. But the bottom line is if you get poor returns early in your retirement, then you are at a much higher risk of running out of money. And our Retire with Freedom process is designed to help you build a plan to insulate you from that. We can help you. I would really encourage you to come to one of our courses or come in for a visit. And the way to do that is to text JOCKS at 205-988-0006. That's 205-988-0006. Text JOCKS, 205-988-0006.
This is a paid placement. Investment advisory services are made available through AE Wealth Management. For more information about Forbes rankings, visit Forbes.com.
All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. It is 7:53 Tuesday, October 14th, right here on Jocks. You can listen online. App is in your app store, iPhone, Android. Always go download that for free and tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill.
Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC dealer of the year, the national champion of GMC dealers. Take the short drive out to Coleman, I-65, X310, Highway 31. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online at BillSmithBuickGMC.com. You go get a GMC Sierra 2500, which is literally my dream truck. If I can get it parked at the airport, I'd own it, but unfortunately, can't.
Won't fit.
I don't know. I've never tried, but I'm not giving up hourly parking for the 2500. I can promise you that. It's a beautiful, beautiful vehicle. It's literally my dream car. $89,750 is the list price. You take $12,000 off the sticker. $77,715 is what you'll get at Bill Smith Buick GMC. This is a Denali. Remember, this is the nicest vehicle on the road, nicest truck on the road for sure from a trim level standpoint and from a utility standpoint as well. So take the short drive to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. The GMC numbers came in. They sold more GMCs than anyone in the entire Southeast last year. It's because they give you the best deal. So take the short drive. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
Let's go to Rich in Albertville. Wants to chime in on the Higginbotham hotline, 800-239-9569 if you'd like to get in. Welcome in, Rich.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, I apologize. I had to let y'all go yesterday. I had to got called into a meeting, so I had to hang up.
Oh,
But
you're good. Go
anyway,
ahead.
nonetheless, want to talk a little bit about Auburn. And I was watching the post-game press conference, and he said a couple things that just infuriated me. One is, obviously the opening statement, we just can't find ways to win. And that partly his job to teach the guys how to win and develop them into being winners. And then when Mike from the War Report asked him, what does accountability look like? And he said, come to work Monday and be ready to win a game. Is that not what you did since you've been there at Auburn? Nothing has changed. They won't beat Missouri. They'll be lucky to win, score 10 points. They might win Mercer and Kentucky. That's the only two wins I see at this point. They're 2-11 in one-score games since he's been there. So can you talk to me as a fan, as an Auburn fan, what can change or what can be done to save his job? Because right now he's a dead man walking in my eyes.
Yeah, I don't know what the job situation is. I think there are some things that can change. I think you can be a little more dedicated to the run. I think there are other quarterbacks on the roster that have talent that could potentially be given a shot. I think your offensive line could play more consistently. I think your defense is going to keep you in a lot of games down the stretch.
Yes.
And then it's up to how everything else goes, whether or not you can find a W or not.